So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how much it will cost you to travel in Laos for 1 month. In fact, I'll tell you now, just in case you're that impatient. If you're traveling around without your own motorbike or anything like that, just using buses and you're being cheap, it will cost you around $540 US. It actually cost me $270, but I'm living in Laos for a little while now because of Corona, so I'm not moving around using buses, and I've got my own motorbike, which saves a lot of money. But anyway, I'm going to break down all my different costs, and I'm going to break down the costs for if you're living in Laos for long term and slow travel, or if you're just coming to Laos for a month and trying to see everything, because that is more expensive. These costs are very similar across Southeast Asia, so Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, it's all very similar. So if you are traveling to any of those countries, you can take that on board too. Visa, the most important thing. You can get this on entry at the airports. When you go and give them your photo and sign the form with fees, it's about $65 a month. In Salavan, in the south of Laos, it's actually $45 to get it done, so it's a lot cheaper. It's $20 cheaper. I don't know why, don't know how long that's going to last, but if you're going to renew your visa, so you want to stay longer than a month, do it in the south at Salavan, it's cheaper. And also take your passport photos. In fact, take loads of passport photos before you come travelling, save you a lot of money. The visa, when you renew it, you will have to wait the next day at least, so it's not the same day when you take your passport and you don't get the visa on the same day, so bear that in mind. You'll have to stay the night wherever you're doing that. Okay, so accommodation, it depends. On average, I would say accommodation for one person can be between $2 to $7 a night. And there's so many variables to this one, but I'll try and explain some of them. Just some tips, if you are looking for a hotel or hostel or anything, when you're looking at them, say if you're looking online or whatever, or if you're speaking to them, try and go for hostels or hotels with extras like free breakfast or a pool or cheap motorbike rental, or even free bicycles, because it can save you a lot of money in the end. Also, check online before you get to a place, because you get a general understanding of how expensive that area is. The best app to use is Agoda. Most of the other apps, they have all the same hostels and hotels as Agoda pretty much, but they're just more expensive. Now, another little tip is, although Agoda is really easy and good to use, you can get a lot of cheap deals on Agoda. Most of the cheapest places in Laos and in Thailand and the rest of Southeast Asia, most of the places aren't even online. So if you're getting into a place late at night and you're tired and it's a long journey, yeah, book on Agoda for sure and get there easy, check in. But if you're getting there in the day, in the morning or something, you're not tired, you don't mind having a little look around the place, I'd certainly recommend either speaking to some travellers in the area, or just going and having a little look around, because you'll probably find somewhere that's half the price that you'll find on Agoda. If you do book on Agoda or on any other website, I would book one night first, because pictures in Southeast Asia of hostels and hotels, they'll be completely different to how they look online. So you might think there's a really good budget place, it looks really clean, it's got a pool, things like this, and you get there and you realise the pool's disgusting, the beds have got blood stains and blah 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 blah, and you've already paid 7 days and now you've just lost your money because you're not going to stay there. So book one night and check it out first. Also, if you like a place and you want to stay in an area for a while, speak to your hotel or your hostel and get a deal for a week or 2 weeks or even a month. They'll always do a deal for a longer stay. And just a general tip for Laos, the cheapest place that I've found to stay is Don Det. It's a very budget friendly place. You can pick up, well, I was staying for $3 a night, and that's a double bed, and that's between me and my girlfriend. On accommodation, you would typically spend, if you're being a really budget traveller, you would typically spend around $150. I currently spend $90 a month for a bungalow, a double bed, and again that's between 2 people. Food. This is something that can be expensive or really cheap. It depends. If you like rice and you like Asian food, then no problem. If you're a meat eater, very, very cheap. You can eat lots of food all across every road. There's always grilled meats and barbecues and meat noodle soups and things like this, and they're all super cheap. I'd say each meal is between 70 cents to $2, I would say, for Lao food. And for Falang food, it can be anywhere from $2 up to anything. Always go for street food, or the restaurants that put their plastic chairs out onto the street. They may be technically restaurants, but they're sort of like street food vendors. Always go where the Lao eat. If all of the signs of the restaurant are in English, then they're obviously catering towards tourists and travellers, so they're going to ask for a higher price. So if you go to a restaurant that is just very Lao, it doesn't look visually appealing to a Westerner, and there's no English sign, go there. It's going to be far cheaper. You're far more likely to get the local price. If you can, get a hostel with a kitchen. It's so much cheaper. I currently spend about $30 a month on food for myself because I can cook. That's cooking every day. If you were to get a hostel with a kitchen and you were just eating out all the time, which is something that I've done for months and months, and there's no problem with that, then I would say about $120 a month. Transport. If you're going to stay in Laos, Vietnam or Cambodia, I would for a long time, more than a month, I would highly recommend getting a motorbike. And I'll make a more in-depth video on that, on how to buy a motorbike, what to look out for, where to buy one, blah blah blah, in another video. But I have a motorbike and I bought mine for $150. In fuel, it probably cost me about the same moving around as it would on the bus for the long distances, but it saves me so much more money because I can go to all of the cheap places that I found that may be too far to walk to, or I'd have to get a tuk-tuk, pay for a tuk-tuk to get to. It saves a lot of money in the long run. But if you don't do that and you get buses, always go to the bus station. All the hotels will offer you tickets and they'll say, oh, we'll take you to the bus station as well, but they're always a lot more expensive. Just get a cheap tuk-tuk to the bus station and buy a local bus ticket as well. You'll have all these VIP Falang or foreigner buses, and they're so much more expensive. They might get you there an hour or two quicker, but they're way more expensive. So if you've got enough time, just get on a local bus and go to the bus station to buy your ticket. Buses are typically, local buses for short distance, they're typically between $1.50 and $4, and I say short distance meaning maybe up to 80 kilometers. But then if you're going any further than that, then you want to get a bus, and most of them are around $5 to $6, but some of them are $10, so they can be quite expensive. If you do go on a bus, make sure you take some snacks, because sometimes they don't stop at stations or anything like that, so you can go really hungry. And download some stuff on your phone, because it can be quite boring. You can rent a motorbike. So what I did in Thailand a lot is get a bus to the destination that I wanted to stay in for a week or so, and then I'd rent a moped for a week and then travel around and be free and do that. And you can do the same in Laos, and that's typically $5 a day. But again, if you're gonna rent it for longer, then you can ask for a cheaper price. For example, for a week, you can probably knock yourself off at least $5. Bicycles, you can rent them for $1 to $2 a day. In terms of transport, a month, I probably spend $35. If I didn't have a bike, then that would probably be $100 or maybe more. Cash in Laos, go to the ATM to get it out. You can only take out 1.5 million, which is about $150 at a time. Most ATMs will let you do that twice in a row. So we take out 3 million or $300 at a time, and that is $2 per transaction to do that. So for every $150 you take out, you're going to pay $2, and that's if you go to the BCEL banks or the BCEL ATMs. They're the cheapest ones, they're the most reliable ones. If you go to any of the others, they're going to be more expensive, and I've been told that they also eat cards and things like that, and you can get scammed. Quick list of extras if you really want to know how much things are in Laos. Average entrance fee to places, $1 to $3. Beer, $1 if you buy it from a shop, not in the fridge. $1.20 if you buy it in a shop in a fridge, and $1.5 if you buy it from a restaurant or a pub or something like that. Tuk-tuks are about $1 for every 2 kilometers. Big iced coffees that you get on the side of the road that you'll get addicted to, they're 50 cents. A packet of cigarettes of 20, 50 cents. You can even buy a kilo of tobacco for $3. A bottle of whiskey, big one, $1.50. Water, about 50 cents, but most places have refills in these blue bottles that are 1,000 or 2,000, so 10 or 20 cents for a refill. Just carry around a plastic bottle with you. SIM cards in Laos, you'll want to get a SIM card. They're $1.50, and there's 2 main providers in Laos, and that's Lao Telecom and Unitel. I mainly use Unitel because it's got really good signal. However, Lao Telecom, you can pay 50,000, so $5, and you get 7 GB for 30 days. Unitel, you get 5 GB for 30 days for the same price. Now, bearing in mind, most of the time you'll be using Wi-Fi at your hostel or hotel. Most places have really good Wi-Fi. So in terms of extras, like beer and things like that, I personally spend about $90 a month. In total, if you had no motorbike and you were traveling around and you weren't living and cooking for yourself at hostels, you can expect to pay around $500, let's say $600. If you want to come to Southeast Asia, there's no end date and you're traveling and you want to spend as long as you can, and you don't mind spending a month in Luang Prabang in the north of Laos like I am now, staying in one place with its own kitchen, you can pay less than $300 a month per person. I pay $270 a month, and I've added a bit extra to that because I've probably forgotten some things, so I've accounted for that. So that's $270 a month to live in Laos. I hope you found that interesting. This video is just how much does one month cost in Laos. I'm going to be doing many other videos. I've only touched upon a few things, like for example motorbike and accommodation and things like that. I'm going to do whole videos just on these topics with loads of tips and tricks, so subscribe. I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you're at home planning your next journey. And in fact, I'll show you or explain to you how you can pretty much live in Laos almost for free as well. So all these videos are up to come. Anyway, peace.